Are we on? One would hope so. One would assume so. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the program. I'm pouring my coffee, as you imagine I often do. Isn't this lovely? Isn't this nice? Let's get a look at these. They're Tiffany blue. I don't know who Tiffany is. I don't know where she came from or why she got to claim that blue. I mean, that's another great question, Maybe we should get into color history. Maybe I should apply for a job with Pantone. I have such a curiosity with all these wonderful colors. I'm here. It is Sunday. It is the last Sunday of June. Is tomorrow July? We still got, we got Tuesday begins July, Canada Day, 4th of July, my birthday, all that business. It's a fun time. It's a real romp. Let me say, before we begin anything else, go watch the latest AEW with the bad apple, the bounty hunter, Bryan Keith. Is he a bad apple and a bounty hunter? Can he only be one at any given time? All these questions answered and more, including tips on Houston, drunk driving, minors driving, guns, Booker T slander. It has it all. Go like, go watch, go comment, and share, because right now AEW has also begun airing Swerve versus Ospreay from Forbidden Door on the YouTube channel. So no one's going to see the fucking hay. So go, please, for the love of God. That shit's ridiculous. Bryan Keith, you need to learn about the person. So go do it and go tell people about it and go shame AEW. Fuck it. Speaking of the shame that I bring AEW, of course, as already mentioned, StarCast in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, Renee and I will be hosting the Wrestle Ants Brunch and Variety Show. We don't know what's on it yet because we don't know when it is. They haven't announced the day and time yet. I assume it would be Friday morning. If you're coming to StarCast, there's some tickets where you can just automatically get in. I don't know how this shit works. Fucking yell at them. I'm the one doing the work here. They're running a show and they can't even bother to tell people when it is. But I do know another show. When we do our Chicago residency, Colt Cabana and I will be doing another all-elite comedy show on Thursday, July 24th, the night after Dynamite, and then there's a Collision on Saturday, so make a whole Chicago week of it. So far, the guests include Harley Cameron, what else is new? Kyle Fletcher, Sky Blue, and Willow Nightingale. Go get your tickets. I tweeted about it. There's I think less than 20 tickets left. So I don't know if we can open up more. That room is very small. Just they're going to move very quickly. They always do. It's a happening scene. It's a hot scene. No Tony Hinchcliffe. Let's talk to some people. Kyle said, how are you, mate? Who gives a shit? Ash said good morning. So Dara said good morning. Mia said good morning. Red Dog said good morning. RJ, Sean, Mass Sanity, Prisma, Nails, Mike, Christine, Romper Room. Nails said, happy Pride Day to any fellow New Yorkers. Oh, it's the parade. I'm sure it's very hot. I'm sure there's a lot of jean shorts. I'm sure there are a lot of white sneakers and visors for some reason. I only see the visors being brought back for pride parades. Nevertheless, enjoy seeing some breasts that you didn't know were shaped like that. I was also on, you can go listen to it after this and after you watch Hey, the latest episode of Tights and Fights. It's a wonderful podcast. Danielle Redford, Lindsay Kelk, Hal Lublin. We talked about a wide variety of AW and non-AW things. Kyle said, holy shit, RJ's packing. Thanks. Thank you. Red Dog said, cup of coffee in the big time. Well, I don't know if this is big time. This is certainly a cup of coffee, though. Ellie said, how is the year halfway over already? Because we're all getting older and time goes faster. And then I think that's probably the only reason we're so fond of our youth, because it feels so slow. Because a year when I was 6, in relation to what I know about time, is so much longer than a year when I'm 36. A chronic snake said, looking a little more defined, diet, workout change, or lighting? I would hope it was diet and workout change. I'm changing it up, but also good lighting. Nell said, I'm ready for a romp. Well, Nels is a pervert. Dave said, good morning. Happy early birthday. You're like fucking 2 weeks, 3 weeks early. RJ Suburb said, could you ever work with Tony Hinckley? I could maybe teach him how to write jokes. RJ said, are you still nostalgic about summers? Have you had a peak summer day yet so far this season? No, it's way too early. We have all July. We have all August. And also, as I've gotten older, a decent chunk of September. Most of September. So I don't want to rush into it yet because then I'll feel like it'll be over. So I feel like I should not have it for a while and then procrastinate and panic and then finally get it. I think it'll make me happy. RJ said, your top half looks real good. Amanda Sandy said, you mentioned the AWA tag titles on Hey. Do you know that they got the name of the company wrong on them? It says the American Wrestling Alliance, and it was never fixed. I was just talking about AWA. I saw this clip on the Wrestling Playlists Twitter of a timekeeper from the AWA. Let's see if we can get a shot of her here. Get ready. The cigarette-smoking old lady timekeeper. And it made me go, why don't we have one of those in AEW? Who is our timekeeper? I know the old Mark Yeaton, the old WWF Mark Yeaton, and now I can't stop thinking about this old lady smoking a cigarette. I think if we found an old lady timekeeper, we can let her smoke. Menthol. What difference does it make? I hope that was enjoyable. Dara already has her All Elite Comedy Show ticket. We will see you there. Joe has a ticket for Chicago. Darnell is here and said the dream has come true. Darnell has, of course, tweeted about whether I will be on YouTube or not every Sunday morning. I guess it was facetious. Darnell is a lovely stylist. Is that the term? You don't make. You're not a tailor. You don't hem. You look and you say, this. He's an exterior decorator. Mia said, Father's Day was around the corner and my dad's birthday is the same day as yours and I already gave him the gift he wants. Can I just give him a card on his birthday? Yes. Don't over-gift things. Miss Haney said, how is Harley doing? She, as you can see, broke her nose, destroyed her nose. And she's posted about it. I'm sure she's swollen, hopefully just in her nose area. Molly said, you've inspired me to start making and drinking cold brew. Good. It's excellent. The hot coffee is too hot. I will say, though, in Mexico, they did the whole hubbub of don't drink the water, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, well, I can't have cold brew because it's mainly cut with water, and I don't know where that water's coming from. So I insisted on having hot coffee there, and I didn't get sick, which is great. I don't think my stomach was right. But the other thing is, even if you're not sick, this Montezuma's revenge shit, the shit you're eating there would still fuck up your stomach over here. Tacos, burritos, quesadillas. Who's eating those and having good digestion? Christine said, we did the Pride run yesterday and saw 2 fully naked men. Well, one had a garter belt on. And him running must have sounded like one person applauding. Miss Sandy said, I once worked a book signing with Dog the Bounty Hunter, Dwayne Chapman. I'm the dog, the big bad dog, the bounty hunter. He wouldn't take pictures with anyone unless they said Jesus as it was being taken. That's Amazing. Even like sometimes the shit is so bad that you love it. And that is one of those things. How do we spread the word of God so I don't feel bad doing book talks and meet and greets? How am I able to justify my own grift as the work of the Lord? What if I make everybody say Jesus? Hey, said your name today. Didn't do anything bad. That's incredible. Are you at liberty to say, Mass Sanity, who was the worst book signing you ever worked for? Maybe someone who's dead. If it's unprofessional, you don't have to say it. It's okay. Ellie said, I can't believe this week's episode is Dynamite 300. And Christine said, speaking of episode numbers, this week was number 147. 48. So, and then next week will be 48. And then we'll be off for All In. And then 49 and 50. And we are just sprinting. That's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. Efren is here. Good morning to you. Nell said, I was just talking about the AWA. Well, I talk about the AWA a couple times a week. Mass Henning said that AWA clip had to be 1987 based on what Henning was wearing. And also, it was a great time for smoking indoors. Must have stunk. Nell said she's so excited for 150. 48. That was 47, 48, off, 49. Don't think that these things are always going to be special. It was serendipitous that we got mocked for 100. No one goes, I can't go up to people and be like, it's the 150th episode. They don't really, it doesn't move anyone. Kyle said, Bryan Keith AEW was hilarious. Who's next? How about you slow the fuck down, Kyle? How about you enjoyed the episode that just came out 2 hours ago that we slaved away making? And how about you you watch, you comment, you post the link, you tell everyone that was fantastic first. Let that settle. And then next week, you'll figure out who the next guest is. Christine wants to be the bell ringer. She says she's an old lady and I can pretend to smoke. You're not grizzled enough. I'm sorry. RJ said, too early. We're already past the summer solstice. Nobody cares about solstice. I spent 6 hours at the beach on Friday, so that's my peak day, and I doubt I'll surpass it if I'm being honest. I feel like I can be honest here. Yeah, this is a space for honesty. Kyle said, do Nick Wayne and his mom. Interview them, I mean. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Darnell said, yes, stylist is the term. You're so sweet. And yes, come through shoulders. Okay. Janelle also selected the last suit I wore for the last pay-per-view, which was Double or Nothing. And some people said I look like Kim Jong-un. So take the quality of his work with a grain of salt. I liked it. Lauren said, hello, RJ in chat. Nice hearing you on Tyson Fights again. I haven't been on in quite a long time. Mia said, my dad always says to me, all he wants is my love. I overgift on Father's Day. I think what he's saying is you're not good at loving him. At least that's what I'm hearing. Mike said, I agree with Mama Wayne for, hey, she can bring along Nick, I guess. Mass Sanity said Burger King is now owned by a Canadian company. They also own Tim Hortons and Popeyes. I don't got any of these. I'm fine. Seek the Visceral said, good morning, RJ. Hope your coffee is like mine. Hint of milk and far too much sugar. You, sir, are an idiot. Just black. That's all I mean. Neil said, it has to be Kenny. Go tweet the guy. Go talk to him on his Twitch. What do you want from me? Mia said, when he named his record label on Hey with Bad Apple, I knew RJ had no idea who the artist was. I love DJ Screw. Fillmore. Darnell, again, said, let's start drama. Who is your favorite guest on Hey? I mean, a lot of people say Taz, Regal, Eddie Kingston. For me, I would say the one I think I enjoyed doing the most was the Rock and Roll Express. Because they would just That show was made for them. They just needed to talk. I didn't have to work as hard. I didn't have to write anything down. I could have just said, "How are you?" and the episode would have been done 20 minutes later. RJ Suburb said, 147 is also the highest score achievable in snooker. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, here we go. Here's good book talk drama. Miss Annie said, Buzz Aldrin, Chelsea Handler, Vince Neil, and Gillian Anderson were less than pleasant signings. And Chris Collier from Glee was awful. I have no idea who that is. Let me look them up. Or why they would write a book. Cody. You're thinking of Cody Collier? Chris Colfer. Jesus. He wrote a book series? What is the name of this book? So he thought that he could just do a little J.K. Rowling and just crank out fantasy books. Okay. It's good. I like it. I can see why he was not that good. Oh, David is here. Hold on. Joseph said, highly enjoyable episode of Hey this week. Cam said, has the standard of Tim Hortons dropped terribly in Canada too? It's gotten horrible in Buffalo. It's always been bad. Nell said, do you eat any fast food? No, unless it's like Sheets. David is here and said, great Hey W. I guess I'm late. Love and miss you all. David and I will actually be reconvening on Tuesday for a little podcast appearance. I won't say with whom. You'll find out soon. Nell said, one of the best Hey W moments will always be Let's Get Cincinnati. David, here's a question for David. Sierra said Regal is still her favorite Hey episode. Have you written a book? Has anyone come to you about writing a book? We've got Mass Sanity here. He manages when people do book signings at different places. Has anyone come for the memoirs of David Arquette? Is it just one big page that says sorry? Ellie said the hologram episode is my personal top 5 episodes. Mike said least favorite is Action Ain't Ready. He didn't know what was going on. That was so long ago. Red Dog said I got food poisoning from a local Burger King back in 2015. It sucked. It kicked in almost immediately after finishing the Whopper. My stomach made random noises for a week. I've gotten food poisoning, I would say, less than 3 times. It was bad every fucking time. Nell said, RJ doesn't get so cranky at the David Love. I didn't even fucking mention it. Mass Sanity said, Chris Colfer arrived late to the book signing and kept taking breaks. As a result of him doing that, I couldn't get to another event that we were hosting a few blocks away with Jimmy Carter. So Chris Colfer prevented you from meeting the greatest U.S. president in terms of building houses ever. Do you remember, like, for 20, 30 years, how's Jimmy Carter? And it was a picture of, like, a corpse holding a hammer, hammering a piece of wood with no nail in it. And you're like, this guy's not getting any fucking work done. Christine said the Harley episode wins for By the Light of the Silvery Moon. Ben is here. So you'll be thrilled to know that this is the first show I'm watching in my new apartment. And I'm also drinking coffee. Well, this is a bit of a housewarming for you. Congratulations. Enjoy running into people in the elevator. David said he's never really been offered a book deal, but I'd love that. I mean, you're going to need a ghostwriter. Let's make that clear. I once pitched a podcast with David called Hold My Career. And it was just stories of how he had fucked up from his career. And surprisingly, there's many. It would have still been going on today. Darnell said, I don't know why, but I love the Mark Davis episode. I infiltrate the subcultures, and I give them exactly what they want. Lauren said, do you think you'll be able to do an all-the comedy show in Toronto for All Out? I don't think so, because it's hard. I think we're in London. on Wednesday, and then we have the Thursday and Friday. I think we're going to be filling it up with other stuff. So hang tight. It's too far away to say, unfortunately. James said Minoru Suzuki was my all-time favorite Hey episode. Kevin said, good Sunday, RJ. What are you wearing for the 4th of July shows? Any Hawaiian shirt action? Yes, and I'm going to have rubber bands sticking out of my face. I haven't worn a Hawaiian shirt in a long time. I was into them for a little bit. Grade 6, they were happening, and then I just fell out. I feel like I don't frame them well. RJ Suburb said, Eason's, a bookshop in Dublin, had book signings weekly about 10 years ago. Wrestlers always drew the biggest crowds. The police stopped people lining up at Bret Hart's as they were queuing down the road. Isn't that something? Isn't that adorable? There's so little going on in Ireland. Okay. Everybody calm down. Mia said, you should watch the documentary My Mom Jane by Mariska Hargitay. I watched it last night. I've seen the ads for it. She's doing the talk show rounds. I'll get there. Give it time. There's too much going on. David said, thanks, RJ. Missed you too. Yep. Ash said, I'm heading out to go play some Pokemon and go ride my scooter downtown Cleveland. It's Global Go Fest Day. Every fucking day is a fucking day. Okay, so Jeff Jarrett was my favorite episode. His face when you mentioned Don Knotts, while we really did hit it off. Joseph said, David needs a ghost face writer. See what I did there? No, I really don't. Messani said, what was the backstage reaction to the various Kyle chants? I don't think anyone expected different. Ellie said, you're going to wear a Mario hat with the outfit as well? What are we talking about? Messani said, wrestlers are usually very good at book signing. Because so few wrestlers, I think, even write books. It's rarefied air. Rarely are you going to get a complete fucking moron wrestler who writes a book. You have to have a little more competency than your average wrestler to write a book. I don't know. I tell you that fucking, Renee has the cookbook. That's a happening thing. Saraya has Hell in Boots. My Life in Boots by Saraya in Boots. Mia said, what is the cheat meal for today? I had gluten-free pancakes so far, and I had a little bit of oatmeal. Maybe some dark chocolate. Maybe I'm just feeling some dark chocolate. I don't think we're going to go nuts. I'm not ready for pizza since Italy, I don't have the hankering yet. Maybe in a couple of weeks. Crying Snake said, few wrestlers write books. Some wrestlers write too many books. Look, they all can't be winners. I don't know how many deserve sequels. They all thought, obviously Mick Foley thought, oh my God, I thought it would be dead by now. And then has to crank out these books. David said, RJ, when are you going to write a book? I had pitched a few books. One was a collection of my tweets on wrestling. One was maybe like a collection of essays on wrestling and life. Might be a nice one. There's other ones. I also suggested you should really have a Tony Storm promo coffee table book. I think that would be really the full text of the promos next to a picture of the event. I think that would be very easy. But what the fuck do I know? I have no interest in writing a book on my life. There's not much to say there, Cam said, do you like grits? Mia said Chris Jericho has so many books. He does. The guy's, creating his own library. Cam said, was at Nickel City Comic-Con yesterday I was at Nickel City Comic-Con yesterday, and Ric Flair moved his photo op up 4 hours without actually telling the people, which meant I got to watch people come to the photo op room and get the news. I love that. That's incredible. It's great. It's so another one, like dog saying Jesus, this has come around and it filled me with joy. Mindset Jericho's on like book number 8. Purple Fish said if some wrestlers weren't writing books, they might be writing manifestos. Fair enough. Matt Sanity said, we've hosted Booker T, Chris Jericho, and Mick Foley multiple times. Booker T wrote multiple books, as if I haven't slandered Booker T enough this morning. I don't know if it'll get back to him. We'll see. We'll see. If I'm blocked at some point, I'll post it. It's not my goal. I was just bringing it up in discussion. RJ said, have you heard about the Evita stage show in London? The lead walks onto the balcony and sings the big number over the streets of London, and the people in the audience have to watch it on a fucking TV, which is even better. Harley Cameron, I guess, is doing better because she has a request. You're 13. It's your first kiss with the wall. You're nervous, but the wall is so handsome, and you're a young man finding himself. I've never done this before. I don't know if it's a thing to be done. I don't know if you are interested. It's something I thought about. You know, if you're in, I don't know if you're in. I just find you breathtaking. I really. Should well, we'll do it, and it's bad that it's it. We don't have to talk about it, and then we just. Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay. Do you give hand jobs? And scene. That was another waste of my time. Christine said, if I ever publish anything, I'll be happy to send the 14 copies I get sold. You never know. Ellie said, I'd buy Tony Storm books. Yeah, it's a great idea. Everyone's excited about Harley, except for Darnell, who said not Harley. David said, my WCW championship outfit was from Hot Topic because I didn't know wrestlers had to provide their own clothes, which, may I say, is fucking bullshit. Never. It's been anytime I'm in a movie, I don't wear any of my old clothes. So what is the problem? What is the fucking problem? I think that is bullshit. Can we fight to change that? Fucking shit. You showed up saying, where's wardrobe? And they said it's in your luggage. Assholes. Let's go back here. Harley said, hello, everyone. I've been better. My face looks like a smushed potato. And she has her nose broken. Kevin said most indie wrestlers at the time worked in Hot Topics gear. You got some fucking pleather pants and you were set. I had my first outfit, if you can call it that, were board shorts with an R and a J ironed on that I got from Michael's, whatever the store is, and a pair of Nike patent black Nikes that I had flat soles put on the bottom, which actually made them far too slippery. Awful. David said trash bag tights. I think he may have lost it. I don't know what you're talking about. Christine said, Harley, I have gifts for you. I'll make RJ give them to you if you're not at Starcast. Kevin said, Punisher t-shirts. They sold so much. You get a skull and you're in business. RJ Suburb said, that's brisk, baby. Red Dark said, I love the Luke Gallows story about the Dr. Death book, the quiz about the book, and Terry Gordy's angry, fuck Dr. Death freak out. I don't know the story. Someone send it to me, please. Mia said, David said, hope you feel better soon, Harley. What a kind soul he is. I wish people would stop saying soul. I saw somebody had died in there. There was always the posters, the kindest soul I've ever met. It's like, what are you, from the netherworld? These fucking Ghostbusters Sixth Sense shit? Just saying I met this guy, and he was a nice guy. It's kindest soul. Get the fuck out of here. Anyone who talks about people's souls is nuts. Mia said, since Harley is here, sing a song to make her feel better. We have missed her. I'll sing an old classic. Nothing can be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. I know one could be sweeter than my sweetie when I meet her in the morning. When the morning glory twines around the door, whispering sweet stories I long to hear once more. This is public domain, too. Strolling with my girlie when the dew is pearly early in the morning. Butterflies all flutter up and kiss each little buttercup at dawning. If I had a genie lamp for only a day, I'd make a wish, and here's what I'd say. And nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. There you go. You good? Neil said, what a king, getting consent from the wall. Thank you. Chronic Snake said, absolute cinema. Pole Girl said, just in time to see RJ kiss a wall. Perfect. Darnell said, the immediate ask. Oh, my God. Kyle said, and scene. David said, hand jobs. Vaudeville blackout. David, watch the thing I texted you, the Danny Thomas salute to burlesque and vaudeville. Everyone's good except for him. Guy's awful. Harley has another request. These are, I think you should really raise the price on these. The kiss was good. You want more with tongue. Halfway through, it's hot and heavy, and oh no, wet fart. She's funny. Hi, I'm the guy. First of all, let me apologize. I understand that it's quite a leap from the peck to the hand job. I was not informed that I didn't understand the order of business. So I want to apologize and sort of walk that back, and we can baby step with maybe some more kissing, deeper kissing, and then perhaps some heavy petting. And then we can, like one of those. And then it becomes, if you're interested, are you interested? Here we are again. Wow, such sharpness, so perpendicular. Really. Do you give rim jobs? And scene. And that was a callback to the earlier scene. It bothers me that I'm finding smart ways out of these awful, awful scenes. RJ Suburb was talking about the Evita performance and said, apparently she sings Don't Cry For Me, Argentina, again in the second half so that people can see. Messani said Harley is making up for lost time. Paul Girl said the wrestlers' costuming is one of the best parts of wrestling because they're paying for it themselves. Outrageous. Lauren said, I wish there was a coffee table book of all Harley's requests in the chat. Christine made one and gave it to her. So... Christine's been keeping score. And now there's so many more. That was a year ago? Mass Andy said, Lipton now offers alcoholic iced tea, but it's not labeled as brisk. No, it's hard. And my understanding is the brisk trademark is still abandoned. David, are you interested in investing in the That's Brisk Baby trademark with me? Think about all the other things we could say that are brisk. Christine said David, Dalton, and Harley should paint on Twitch, please. Harley said, thank you, David. I miss you. I want you to teach me to paint. Oh, let's paint. Yes, please. Next Nashville visit. Fuck off. Listen to this fucking shit. Kyle said, RJ, if someone ever hit you with the how do you know that on a AEW, would you say the line? How do I know what? That's brisk, baby? What do you say? Amanda said, is this Danny Thomas thing available on YouTube? Yes. Let me get the full name of it. The Wonderful World of Burlesque, Danny Thomas Full Special, 1967. It was just put up in full. RJ Summer said, that's got to be the wall, brother. Really nice. Really, really good stuff. Nelson, I'm dying over here. David said, and he doesn't understand when I said he's losing it as he kisses the wall. I don't know what we're talking about. Blumini is here. Oh my God, what an all-star, Night of 1,000 Stars. Blumini, I will see at some juncture, I'm sure, when we are in Philly. I can't remember when we're in Philly. August? Whenever we're there, I'll see you. He made a lovely post about his Sabu tribute. And let me ask you, since you now know someone who just died, Blue Meanie, isn't it weird when people refer to them as souls? Like, he's the most beautiful soul I've ever met. That's weird. Isn't it weird to talk like that? It's a person who died. You love them, miss them, mourn them. But to call them souls, it's a little too otherworldly. What do you know? How do you know that you've met a soul? Am I nuts? Christine said, Meanie, it's an all-star episode. Matt Sandy said, Bozo the Clown is brisk, baby. Just David's. Zoel said, it's a who's who this morning of guests. Mia said, I need a photo with David, RJ, and Harley. Well, David's welcome to come do a fucking awful comedy show. Kyle said, bro, acting like he's never seen Nordwar. Nordwar, I watched being Canadian when I was a kid. That's how long ago. And he'd be interviewing people I didn't know. So this is a strange fellow. Miss Andy said, do you prefer the 1966 or 1967 Danny Thomas Burlesque special? I mean, he's so much sharper in the first one. By 67, he's lost his fastball. Christine said, hey, you know someone who died. Well, I think it's a good, pertinent question because I hear it a lot. Blue Minnie said, RJ, I don't think I've heard that phrase, but I agree. So maybe it's like a younger Twitter thing. It's bizarre. Maybe I'm following the wrong fucking people. I'm following people who sit in the grass all day. He's a beautiful soul. It's nuts. It's a crazy thing to say. Thank you for standing with me. Thank you for standing for this important cause. Neil said, do people not tell you have an old soul, RJ? Yeah, but that's a phrase, you know? But they don't say, I think he's a beautiful soul. It's fucking old soul goes together. Not that I think it's a great one. I still don't quite know what it means. Pogirl said, sitting in the grass or smoking in the grass? Great question. Mia said, I don't sit in the grass, so you can follow me. I feel like I've heard a lot of people say someone has a sweet soul. It's just a person. Purplefish said, are these souls on journeys? Yes, they are. And it's one that we call life. Zoel said, how old are you in soul years? Smoking it sounds right. Pogirl said, grazing in the grass is a gas, baby. Can you dig it? James said, I have a sweet soul. He's talking about the fish. Easy E said, 84. Red Dog said, he's a beautiful soul. Something that we won't hear when Vince finally goes. And, of course, Red Dog is talking about Vince Fontaine from Greece. So here's something that bothered me. They did a Grease sing-along at the Hollywood Bowl. And they had Didi Khan, Frenchie, and some of the T-Birds. And John Travolta showed up as a surprise. The other guests didn't even know. And he was, I'm Danny Zuko. And he wore the old hair, but it was fucking blonde. Let me look it up because this is fucking nuts. Hold on. Here we go. So this, obviously, Danny Zuko, I don't need to tell you what the fuck he looks like. This is the wig he showed up wearing. Could he not? This guy wears a toupee. He's worn a toupee every day for like 40 fucking years. And he can't find the right black hair. It doesn't even match his eyebrows. Like, what the fuck is that? He looks like Jeff Conaway. He looks like Kaneki. It's fucking stupid shit. He should be eviscerated for that. Kyle said, how long did it take for your shoulder to stop hurting after the right shoulder roll on top of your mic pack in the Regal Hey W episode? It was my ass cheek, because that's where the mic pack was. It was in my back pocket. It hurt for a while. Soul Food. My soul gets slightly older on Thursdays. Blumini said, no one ever says he's a sweet, still alive person while people are alive. Well, I'm going to say that about you, Blumini, because you deserve it. You're a beautiful, still alive soul. Your soul, Blumini, it's a beautiful, beautiful soul. The rest of you could take or leave, but your soul, incredible. Christine said, I don't mind soul, but aura annoys me. Aura's fucking awful. You got the rings, then we could read it in people, and then it was over. Blumini said he's a sweet vessel, a vessel of love, an arbiter of hope and joy. And we're on the ocean. Is that it? We're like sailboats. We're like a fleet of boats, and we're sailing. Is that what vessel? Like, expand on the analogy. They never do. They can never do it. Blue Meaning said the 5 o'clock shadow was shocking too. Has John Travolta ever seen Grease before? I would say, if David has to do something from fucking Scream or from Ready to Rumble, you bet your fucking ass he's doing it to the T. He's not going to half-ass this shit. Music, John Travolta dressing as Santa dancing to Stay Alive still bothers me. Well, that's just a straightforward sellout. There's nothing to see there. Lauren said it looks just like Just for Men. Isn't it bizarre, though? Neil said, I agree it should be black, but he also looks great. But it's not about looking great. It's not a great contest. It's not a great sing-along. It's a Grease sing-along. And he fucking failed as far as I'm concerned. Elite Easy E said, who did Olivia Newton-John's bit? So they didn't sing along. So what they do is these Grease sing-alongs, they'll put the words at the bottom of the screen so you can sing along. And everyone's allowed and encouraged to sing out loud. But all they did at the beginning was come out and speak. So they didn't participate in the singing. He just came out and he said, oh, it's great to see everyone. And then he was like, womp, womp, baloo, bop, womp, bam, boom. And everyone said, who the fuck is this guy with blonde hair? David Arquette said, we need a new Saturday Night Fever. Let's do it. What do we do? What are we doing? We have the time. Soul is staying alive. Christine said, are Scientologists allowed to wear wigs? Aren't they full of thetans? I gotta look this up. Scientologists are not allowed to use street drugs and mind-altering psychotropic drugs. Sounds like bullshit to me. They want to can't disconnect. I found no information on the wigs. Although if he's wearing a wig, they're allowed to wear wigs. James said, one of the worst wrestling pay-per-views ever was WCW NWO Sold Out. But I loved that set. It was so dangerous. The lighting was so bad, but I fucking loved it. Mason said, why hasn't anyone mentioned the RJ appearance during the Tony Storm video from this week? So Mercedes Moné cut a promo. But it opened with the old film Hold That Butler, which was the introduction of Luther as the butler, and was maybe one of my final appearances in the films. I think that they only did, of the original silent films, I think 3. and I was in 2 of them. They don't show up on my IMDb, and I have not seen any residuals. Alien ghosts? What are we talking about? Mia said, people who owe you money shouldn't post that they got a tattoo on social media, but I have to let it go. I'll just tell them. You know how many times someone will text me and I don't want to text them back yet? I don't have an answer for them, or whatever. Sometimes these people who you're like, I can't talk to this person right now. I have to wait time. I have time and energy to focus on talking to this person. And then I was also just about to post something, and I will now defer the post so the person won't look and go, he just posted, he just tweeted. Why isn't he texting me back? Because I certainly do that when it happens to me. Next Andy said, are we due for another John Travolta comeback, or has he run out of those? He's fucking good. We're good. He didn't turn. I'm fascinated by how we loved Tom Cruise, and then we all hated him, and then now we all love him again. I've been told. I think he's just been that way for so long. There's something to say about the consistency of it and the reliability of whatever. Even of the Gary Busey and Nicolas Cage. It happened with Nicolas Cage. They loved him. And they're like, he's insane. And then if you're insane for long enough, they go, I love that. So I think it's just about getting enough at bats and just hitting the ball every time. You don't have to hit a fucking home run. You just hit the ball every time. Grease freaking Q&A at least. I agree, David. Absolutely. Easy said, so this was a karaoke thing? Kind of. James said, Soul Asylum was a great band. Mike said, Tom Cruise is definitely wearing a rug now. Red Dog said, Grease is the way we are feeling. Still bugs me. So why didn't they fucking wheel out the mummy of Frankie Avalon? It is the way we're feeling. David said, no more baby oil. And I don't even know what that's about. He said, Scientologists are only allowed to be closeted actors. If you're gay and you're not thrilled by it, we have Scientology. Nell said, Travolta made a surprisingly good Santa. Mia said, I've never seen any Mission Impossible movies. I saw one when I was a kid. I hate action movies where they're just branded as action movies. It's fucking awful. Mia said, he said, Tom Cruise's birthday is Thursday, just like me. Not me, you. That's why you guys have so much in common. Poe Girl said, we need a Grease remake about an actual mechanic working at some garage. A musical. You must be thinking of the Uptown Girl music video, where Billy Joel is like this under the hood of a car. They raised it up and he's covered in grease. Mike said, I really thought John Travolta as John Gotti would be his big comeback. But I would also say I knew he didn't have that in him. Was there anything, this is a crazy question. Was there anything that John Travolta acted in where you could earnestly look back and go, that was good? And I mean, Grease is great. Saturday Night Fever is great. There's a few others, but there's a one where you look back and you go, great acting, John Travolta. Kyle said, happy birthday for this Thursday. Oh, it's not my birthday. Christine said, I just recently finished watching all the Mission Impossible movies. Yay, good for you. Mia said, I liked him in Hairspray. Even then, I could think of at least 3 other actors who were better than him in the same role. Nell said, look who's talking. Good for you. Elite Easy said, Pulp Fiction. Okay, Pulp Fiction. Okay. RJ said Pulp Fiction. He didn't even audition for it. It's good. Pogo said, I love Travolta's effeminate Dracula on SNL skit. Look it up. I will. A Royale with cheese. What are we talking about? Mike said, look who's talking was a favorite of mine. Not great acting, but funny. Matt Sandy said, Grease and Saturday Night Fever are not too different than his character in Welcome Back, Kotter. David said, the car crash sound one he... It's a Bryan De Palma movie. Blowout. This is the only John Travolta movie I'm recommending. It's Bryan De Palma. Listen to this fucking cast. John Travolta, Nancy Allen, John Lithgow, and Dennis Franz. Let me read the... John Travolta stars as Jack Terry, a movie sound effects technician from Philly, who, while recording sounds for a low-budget slasher film, unintentionally captures audio evidence of an assassination involving a presidential hopeful. The film's tagline in the poster was "Murder has a sound all of its own." Fuck it. I want to watch it this week. That is a really, really good movie. So I take back everything I already said. That's the one. RJ sort of said, RJ, do you have a cold? My ear was clogged, and I feel like it's because I'm doing so much talking right now. But I don't have a cold. I'm good. I have ear congestion. I have water in my ear. Very frustrating. Dancing in the Saturday Night Fever sequel would literally kill him. Blowout is a good flick, Poe Girl Shine said. Sean said, Face Off liked him in that movie. Sean said, De Palma made the first Mission Impossible. Chronic Snake said, is it just me, or was he good in The Tumor Gave Him Smart Powers movie? What are we talking about? John Travolta Tumor movie. So, this is so interesting. When I was a kid, because the covers are so similar, I always got Phenomenon, which is this movie, and Powder confused. Because if you look at the Phenomenon poster, it's him standing and pointing, and he's got lightning in the background. And Powder is the guy standing, and he's got the glasses, and there's all lightning. And I thought, well, this has to be the same movie. Royals with Cheeses and Pulp Fiction. I'm not that nutty about Pulp Fiction as everyone else is. Nell said, we've come full circle on Travolta. All this talking he hasn't done the voice once. Well, we've moved beyond that. As an artist. Porcelain Pumpkin said, oh shit, finally made it to one of these live. Hello, Audrey. I hope you're having a lovely day. We're going to be done so soon. Easy E said, and all dancing is done on TikTok, not discotecas anymore. That's it, yeah. So maybe it could just be him in his room. Circle of Flesh said, will you have any Stardom wrestling on Hay? Maybe Fukigen Death. I mean, we had Nina when she was in Stardom. We've had certainly enough Stardom adjacent people, but they have to be in town. I don't book the travel. Or if we go there. RJ said, try Sudafed for your congestion. It works as the antidote for medication-induced erection that won't quit. Fact. What are you taking? Poison Pumpkin said, done soon? Oh, well, at least I caught the end. Featherstone said, I like Travolta playing the villain in that Punisher movie. You must be talking about the Punisher. Kyle said, Rossi can't block them. We're getting into the politics of it. Nell said, Pumpkin, it is 9:30 Eastern to 10:30 Eastern. Get it right. Mia said, Blues Brothers is overrated. And I agree. They do a lot of, it's almost like they fool you into thinking it's good. Because the music is good, but it's not theirs. The people are good, but it's just people singing their music. He's hard to hate. Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, Paul Schaefer. John Candy, very underutilized in the movie. Kathleen Freeman plays the nun in the beginning. And, of course, Carrie Fisher. Paul Rubens is in as a waiter. But the movie itself, I can't remember. It's one of those movies where it's like, I think it was just big and grand and feels good as opposed to being funny. Am I nuts? Mike said, I remember stories when Phenomenon was coming out that Travolta was curing people with his Scientology powers. Is this a Scientology? Let me look it up. There's got to be some link, right? The 1996 movie Phenomenon starring John Travolta is sometimes interpreted as having Scientology influences, particularly due to Travolta's involvement with the religion and the film's themes of tapping into one's potential. While the screenplay was influenced by Zen philosophy and the story itself focuses on a man gaining superhuman abilities, some viewers and critics noted it parallels with Scientology's teachings, especially those found in L. Ron Hubbard's Dianetics. Can I talk about another movie that I discovered yesterday? Because it is a movie called Riding the Bus with My Sister. It came out in 2005, which is wild that this was only 20 years ago. It was a TV movie that aired on CBS as part of the Hallmark Hall of Fame anthology series. So this is before really the Hallmark movie. Directed by Angelica Houston, which is fascinating. Music by Stuart Copeland from The Police. And it stars Rosie O'Donnell as the mentally challenged sister of Andy McDowell. And it's a gutsy performance. They only say she has an intellectual disability, which can be fucking anything. It's just wild. You need to see it. You need to watch the trailer. You need to do whatever the fuck you can do. It is incredible. Christine said, I like Primary Colors where he was not Bill Clinton. Ellie enjoyed him in the Hairspray remake. Gabriel said, what film director has the most consistent catalog, releasing solid films over the longest period of time? I would say you would have to go for a De Palma, a Scorsese, a Billy Wilder, a Sidney. Oh God, I'm back. I'm back for I guess just 1 or 2 minutes. Well, fuck it. De Palma, Scorsese, Hitchcock, a Lumet, Billy Wilder. I'd perhaps put at the top of the list. Let's finish reading these and we'll get the fuck out of here. Red Dog said it's Rosie's Dollar Store Forrest Gump movie. It really is. It is fucking great. Easy E said, didn't Will Smith get heat for After Earth? Well, yeah, but his new song's good. Crybaby was a great film. E.T. Skull said, will you come out with another greeting-themed product show? Maybe a skincare line called Hello Aloe. I find it offensive. What do I have to do to get an RJ review of my film, Sweet Hurt? Do I want to say this? You're not really selling me on it. My sanity said Billy Wilder was great. Easy E said throughout Christopher Nolan. That's fair. I was gone and I'm back and we're fine. David said, I wrote Battlefield Earth and it froze us. Story of David's life. Well, that is pretty much the show. I'm happy I came back on for that. David said, Alexis Arquette loved that Rosie O'Donnell movie. Well, I can now see why. Because it is so fucking bad that it's good. And that's really your charm. That is the show. Go watch the latest AEW with Bryan, Keith, the Bounty Hunter, the Bad Apple. Go like, go watch, go comment, go share. Go hack the algorithm, will you please? Let's get a final look at these. There you go. That's him. That's nice. Gee, this wall is sexy. In the meantime, Godspeed.